Good morning, Montreal, and welcome back. We are joined in studio today by Maxime Goulet. He is a Montreal music composer whose career has taken an interesting twist. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So the latest project of yours is actually composing music for video games. Tell us about how you even got into this.
Well, actually, I started as an assistant for a film composer, so I was really interested to the relation between image and music. And then I looked around. Montreal is a big city with a lot of video games company. So it's like a little bit the Hollywood of video games. So there's a lot of video game, big players are here, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Eidos. And so I looked around, tried to find opportunity to write music for video games. I worked for Game Law for 6 years, and I scored more than 25 video games for them. All the Dungeon Hunters, Shrek, Spider-Man, Brothers in Arms.
A lot of the time when we look at these video games, we take for granted the fact that somebody put a lot of thought into the music that we're hearing. So we want to show our viewers an example right now. This is some of the music that Maxime composed for Warhammer 40,000 Eternal Legacy. Take a listen. Just incredible. What you heard there is some of the music for the bad guys and some of the music for the good guys. What is your process, I mean, in creating this music?
Well, when I worked for the music for this game, which is made by Behavior and Games Workshop, it's a big franchise, so a lot of fans of Warhammer already know about it, and they know the story, they know the team, so there's a few factions, so different team. When you play as Warhammer, you can play as a good guy, the Space Marines, or you can play as the bad guy, as the Chaos Marine. And the idea was to have a thematic for both of the teams, so if you're playing the good guys, you will hear the music of the Space Marine, and if your team is winning, the music of the Space Marine will get bigger, and if you're playing as the bad guys, you will hear the music of the Chaos Marine. So we heard a little bit of the both. So I really had to understand what is the world of each of these two factions. So I talked a lot, it's really a teamwork, so I talked a lot with the people at Behavior. What is the sound that we want for the good guys? So the idea was to have like choir to make it very brave.
Dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. And the bad guys, there was a lot of sound with distortion. So it's almost like heavy metal, but with orchestral instruments. So a lot of distortion on the low brass and string and very tense.
Is part of it that you're trying to create a feeling with your music?
Actually, music for video game is very similar than music for film. It means that you have to follow the image and the intensity. So if the image is intense, the music will get intense. And if the image is calm, the music will be soft. The difference is that when you make music for film, the film is always the same. Each time you look at the film is always the same. So the music is always the same. But with video games, each time you play the game, the intense moment doesn't happen at the same moment because it depends on the performance of the player. So the music has to follow the performance of the player. So the intense moment, you never know when it's going to happen. So the music will wait and always change and evolve. So you have to give to the player the information, the impression that it's a soundtrack composed specifically for his performance each time he played a game, either way he plays the game. So that's the challenge, the specificity of the music for video games.
Maxime Goulet, congratulations to you and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.